If you own a business and you owe the IRS, you're more than likely going to have to complete what's called the Form 433-B. It's to my right. I'm going to walk you through the basics as to how to complete the 433-B. By all means, if you have any questions, please call us directly. Let's start with Section 1, General Business Information. The name, the address, and the employer tax ID number of the business is going to be listed. The date it was incorporated, your monthly gross payroll, the frequency of your tax deposits, how often you make that important 941 deposit, and is the business enrolled in what's called the Electronic Federal Tax Payment System, the acronym EFTPS. Answer all the basic questions on the form to the best of your knowledge. This form is going to give the IRS an accurate idea as to the financial condition of the business and what your ability is to repay the debt or lack thereof. Section 2, the business, personnel, and contact information. This is where you're going to list the partner information, the officers, if it's an LLC, limited liability company, the members' names and or shareholders, along with their respective contact info, phone numbers, addresses, and social security numbers. Moving right along to page 2, Section 8. Does the business use a payroll service? If so, list their contact information, such as your accountant or a national chain. Number 9, is the business party to a lawsuit? Is it suing someone or is it being sued? Number 10, has the business ever filed bankruptcy? Again, a yes or no, and if so, list the date. Lines 11, 12, and 13 are pretty self-explanatory. Line 14, does the business expect an increase or a decrease in the income? If yes, to either one, or if no, please explain on a separate page. Feel free to elaborate. Section 4, line 15, cash on hand. Typically, this refers to petty cash. However, line 16, A, B, and C, that's where you're going to list the corporate bank account information, the account number, and the respective balances. Moving right along to page 3, accounts receivable. This is where you're going to list the address and the contact information for every account receivable. Also, the IRS is going to ask for the status, the age of the receivable, and is it factored as an example. And, of course, the amount due from each respective receivable. Line 19 is going to list the business investment accounts, if any, mutual funds, stocks, CDs, certificate of deposits, anything that the business has in an institution, if it's applicable, you're going to list it right there under line 19. Line 20, available credit, such as a bank line of credit or a business credit card. Again, please keep in mind, these are only for business-related credit purposes, nothing to do with you personally as the owner of the business. Let's move on to page 4. Property owned by the business. Again, anything that's titled in the name of the business, not by you individually. You need to list the purchase date, the fair market value, a current loan balance, and if it's applicable, is there any equity? Line 22, A, B, and C. That's going to reflect the vehicles. Does the business own any vehicles? Are they purchased? Are they leased? What's the monthly payment? Is there equity? If there's a value, everything is going to be listed on line 22. Page 5, business equipment. The assets that the business owns. It could be major equipment. It could be a desk, a copier, a chair. You're going to list anything that the business owns. Refer to your balance sheet of your tax return for the assets. You're going to list the dates acquired, the value, the loan balance, and if there's any equity. Again, any questions, please call us. Line 23 is going to reflect the liabilities, any notes that you have to the bank, and or any judgments against the business. Let's move on now to page 6. This is the final page. Page 6 is going to be the business income monthly and the business expenses, again, monthly. The left-hand column is going to list the income. The gross receipts from the sales or the service that you provide, that's going to be the top line entry. Any other applicable line items that would apply to your business income, please feel free to list, and again, we will modify this when we review it with you thoroughly. You can also use your corporate tax return as a basic guide. Take the annual gross sales and divide by 12. That should be somewhat what your business income is on a monthly basis, unless this current year is having a major fluctuation for you up or down on the monthly income. Please call us with any questions you may have as to how to put in the business income. The line 35 is going to reflect the total income. So everything that you list as income, line 35 totals it up. Let's move on to the right-hand column. These are your expenses. Please list any entry that applies to your business expenses. Try and take a look at your corporate tax return, or feel free to call us and we're happy to walk you through. Please again do your best to fill these out accurately because you're signing these under penalties of perjury. Line 48 is going to be the total of all of your expenses. Again, take all the expenses, you're going to total that up. Let me also remind you that you want to make this form as accurate as possible. Underneath your signature, there's going to be a list of attachments. Please make sure to include all supporting attachments. For any expense line item that's listed, you have to include the supporting document if it's available. The form is a little confusing. Don't be overwhelmed by it. Do the best you can, and please feel free to call us directly with any specific questions.